Los Angeles, 2017. The world knew them as America's sweethearts. Instagram perfect. Tabloid royalty. Red carpet darlings. But behind the million-dollar smiles and coordinated designer outfits, a dark obsession was growing, and it was about to turn fatal. The victim? 26-year-old pop sensation Ava Sinclair, the voice of a generation. The accused? Her boyfriend, Oscar-winning actor Jaxon Reed, and his ex-lover, a vengeful supermodel named Sloane Rivera. The weapon? A secret Ava never should have uncovered. But before it all unraveled into blood and betrayal, it began with love, or something like it. Before we delve deeper, kindly subscribe, like and comment your thoughts in the comments section. Ava Sinclair's voice could stop time. Discovered at 17 on a reality singing show, she was polished by the industry and thrust into stardom. By 24, she was headlining world tours, racking up platinum records, and dating Hollywood's golden boy, Jaxon Reed. Jaxon was everything Ava wasn't, calm where she was fire, controlled where she was chaos. The press adored them. Vogue called them a union of art and ambition. But behind the headlines, Ava was spiraling. Pills. Champagne. Sleepless nights. Whispers of breakdowns. Jaxon always stood by her, until he didn't. Because there was Sloane Rivera. Sloane was older, colder, and meaner, the kind of beauty you didn't forget, or trust. She'd dated Jaxon years earlier, during his indie film era, before Ava, before the fame explosion. They were magnetic and toxic. Public screaming matches. Rehab stints. An NDA-covered miscarriage. But now, Sloane was back. She wasn't hiding it either. Ava found out the same way the fans did, through a leaked paparazzi shot of Jaxon leaving Sloane's Manhattan penthouse at 2 a.m., wearing the same leather jacket he'd worn to Ava's birthday party 2 nights before. The internet exploded. Jaxon called it innocent. Sloane called it unfinished business. Ava? She went silent. Then, she vanished from social media. A month later, a makeup artist for Ava's team anonymously leaked pages from a torn journal. The entries were scrawled, emotional, Ava's handwriting, and they told a different story. They think I'm crazy. But I saw the text. Finish it or I will. That was Sloane. To Jaxon. I wasn't supposed to see it. I don't think they'll kill me. I know they will. It wasn't published by any major outlet. No one wanted to believe America's sweetheart was afraid for her life. But she was. October 5, 2017, New York City. Ava's final public performance. She was scheduled to perform at a charity gala. Cameras caught her walking in, radiant in a crimson gown, but with something different in her eyes, not fear, not sadness. Defiance. She sang only 2 songs. Then, she stopped the band, stepped forward, and stunned the audience with a final line. If anything happens to me, ask Jaxon and Sloane why. Gasps. Confusion. Nervous laughter. Security whisked her away before anyone could question it. It was the last time she was seen alive. 3 days later, Ava Sinclair was found dead in her penthouse bathtub. Prescription pills. A shattered wine glass. A suicide note typed in perfect formatting. Too perfect. The LAPD ruled it suicide, a result of mental health battles. But Ava's fans, her family, and one retired detective didn't buy it. Detective Marla Hines, pulled out of retirement by Ava's heartbroken sister, started digging. She noticed the inconsistencies. Ava hated typing and journaled by hand, her fingerprint wasn't on the suicide note or the wine glass, her security camera footage was erased, and the wine glass. Laced with traces of chloral hydrate, the same sedative used in old Hollywood scandals. Suddenly, the suicide didn't look so self-inflicted. The investigation reopened quietly. And when Marla subpoenaed Ava's cloud backup, she struck gold, a voice memo recorded the night before Ava died. In it, Ava whispers, "If you're hearing this, I'm probably gone. Jaxon told me Sloane won't stop until she gets what she wants. He promised he'd fix it. I don't believe him anymore. I think I'm next." That changed everything. The media flipped. The story went viral. #Justice for Ava trended globally. Protesters stormed Jackson's movie premiere, pelting the red carpet with roses dipped in red paint. Sloane deactivated her Instagram. Jaxon fled the country. But he didn't get far. 6 months later, Jaxon was arrested in Prague on a sealed indictment and extradited to California. The charge? Conspiracy to commit murder. Sloane. She was already one step ahead. Her legal team struck a deal with prosecutors. Immunity in exchange for a full confession. The courtroom was electric the day Sloane took the stand. She sat tall, unapologetic, and delivered a chilling blow. He said she had to go. "I didn't ask why. I just helped him clean it up." Gasps rippled through the room. But it wasn't over. Because just as the judge was preparing to sentence Jaxon, something unexpected happened. New evidence surfaced. Evidence that could flip the entire case, and put someone else in the crosshairs. Fame can make you untouchable. It can turn lovers into monsters, secrets into currency, and heartbreak into headlines. But when the lights fade and the cameras stop flashing, truth doesn't care how famous you are. Justice moves slowly. But when it moves, it crushes. Outside the courtroom, a young intern handed a flash drive to Detective Marla Hines. No label. No words. Inside it, a hidden recording from before Ava's final show. On it, Ava arguing with someone, but it wasn't Jaxon or Sloane. It was someone else entirely. Someone no one suspected. Someone still out there. Before we delve deeper, drop a comment. Who do you think Ava was protecting? Subscribe and turn on notifications, because this case just got darker. The voice on the flash drive was unmistakable. It was Ava's. Detective Marla Hines sat alone in her dimly lit office, hands clenched tightly around a pair of aging headphones as Ava Sinclair's whisper played through the speakers. She'd heard fear in voices before: veterans, victims, killers. But this? This was something else. "If you ever hear this, please, forgive me. I never meant for anyone to die." Marla froze. That wasn't the confession of a woman terrified for her life. That was the confession of a woman carrying a secret. 3 days later, the prosecution's case against Jaxon Reed was unraveling. He'd been charged with conspiracy to commit murder, backed by Sloane Rivera's immunity-fueled confession and Ava's ominous voice memo. The world had already convicted him in their minds. Fans burned his posters, brands dropped him, directors scrubbed his name from film credits. But the new audio changed everything. If Ava had done something, if she had known something, the narrative wasn't as clean-cut as it seemed. The flash drive was entered into evidence under seal. Judge Merriweather reviewed it in chambers, and by the time he returned to the bench, his demeanor had changed. The smug confidence in the prosecution's team began to dim. Due to new material developments, he announced, the court will allow a re-examination of witness statements. All prior immunity agreements are now subject to review. Gasps echoed in the courtroom. Sloane Rivera's composure cracked for the first time. That night, Marla sat in her car, staring at a faded press photo of Ava and Jaxon during happier times, back when her eyes still smiled. Then her phone buzzed. Unknown number, meet me at the rooftop bar. 10 p.m., no wires. Attached was a blurry photo, the original, unedited image of Jaxon leaving Sloane's building at 2 a.m. But this version had something the tabloids never published. There was a third figure in the reflection of a glass door. Not Jaxon. Not Sloane. Ava. The bar was empty when Marla arrived. Rain slicked the rooftop. Neon lights shimmered in puddles. And under the overhang, standing in a soaked trench coat and red lipstick, was Monica Pierce, Ava's former publicist. "I don't have much time," Monica said, lighting a cigarette with shaky fingers. "But if you want the truth, you need to understand something." Marla said nothing. Just waited. Monica exhaled. Ava knew about the money. She found the offshore accounts tied to Sloane's modeling agency. Fake endorsements. Shell companies. All funded by Jaxon's production house. Marla frowned. Money laundering? Monica nodded. She confronted Jaxon. Threatened to go public. Said she didn't want to be part of the machine anymore. Said she was done protecting him. And then? Monica looked away. She wasn't just afraid of being killed. She was afraid of bringing everything down. The agency. The label. Even her own brand. Ava knew if she talked, lives would be ruined. A beat. She recorded that message the night after she met with them. All three of them. Jaxon. Sloane. And someone else. The person who made her promise not to speak. Who? Monica dropped the cigarette. She never told me. Back in the courtroom, Jaxon's defense team moved quickly. They argued that Ava's voice memo wasn't a deathbed warning, it was a confession. That she had been complicit in a multi-million-dollar fraud scheme, and that her guilt and addiction had led to her suicide. Marla didn't buy it. Neither did the jury. But there was still one piece missing. The person in the reflection. Marla pulled strings. She reached out to an old cyberforensics contact and had the original paparazzi photo analyzed with enhanced imaging. The reflection in the glass revealed enough to trigger a jolt in Marla's chest. It was a woman. Blonde hair. Business suit. Mid-40s. Not a celebrity. Not a model. An executive. She ran a search through Ava's old business contracts. Through Jaxon's film deals. Through Sloane's endorsement sponsors. And then the name popped up. Eden Wolfe. CEO of Wolfe Vanguard Media, the parent company behind Ava's label, Jaxon's agency, and Sloane's branding deals. Eden had built careers, and buried scandals. She also had motive. The next morning, Marla requested Eden Wolfe be subpoenaed. The courtroom buzzed as the icy media mogul entered in a cream pantsuit and dark glasses, flanked by 3 attorneys. Cameras weren't allowed, but transcripts would leak within hours. Under oath, Eden denied everything. Claimed she hadn't seen Ava in weeks before her death. Said she wasn't even in New York the night of the gala. But the photo proved otherwise. So did Ava's calendar, a handwritten entry from October 4th, the day before her death. Meeting with Eden, 5 p.m. Parkview Hotel. Bring file. What file? The prosecution asked. Eden stared. I don't recall. By now, the public was starting to shift. Ava wasn't just a victim. She might have been a whistleblower. And someone had wanted her silenced, not out of jealousy, but out of desperation. Ava's sister, Nina, finally broke her silence in a press interview. Ava was scared of Jaxon, she said. But she was terrified of the people behind him. She told me, if anything happens, don't look at him first. Look at who he's protecting. The next day, Sloane Rivera requested to amend her testimony. She returned to the stand, this time without makeup, without a lawyer whispering in her ear. She looked different. Exhausted. Broken. Human. She took a deep breath. I lied, she said. Jaxon's head shot up. I lied when I said he planned it. He didn't want her dead. Then who did? The prosecutor asked. Sloane's eyes welled with tears. None of us wanted her dead. We just wanted her scared. Eden said that was all it would take. A few threats. Some pressure. Make her disappear for a while. Clean it all up before the press caught on. And the night she died. Sloane looked down at her hands. There was a plan. But it changed. How? She wasn't supposed to be alone. Outside the courthouse, cameras rolled as chaos erupted. Eden Wolfe was now under federal investigation. Jaxon's trial was suspended. Sloane was taken back into protective custody. And Detective Marla Hines knew she was running out of time. Because if Ava wasn't supposed to be alone that night, then someone else had been in that penthouse. And maybe still was. That evening, Marla returned to Ava's penthouse for one final walkthrough. Something about the layout had always bothered her. Inside the walk-in closet, behind a rack of fur coats, her flashlight caught something, a small metal latch on the wall. She pried it open. A hidden crawlspace. Dusty. Claustrophobic. Inside. A single video camera. Still recording. Still warm. She hit play. Before we delve deeper, like and subscribe to our channel because the person behind that voice is the last one you'd ever suspect. The footage played like a nightmare. Ava Sinclair sat on the edge of her bed, knees pulled to her chest, dressed in a satin robe. Her voice, soft and shaking, broke through the silence. "You promised if I stayed quiet, no one would get hurt." Then came the reply. Calm. Chilling. Almost affectionate. "And you broke that promise, Ava." Detective Marla Hines paused the video. Her reflection stared back at her from the laptop screen. Her gut twisted. That voice, she couldn't place it yet. Male? Female? Altered? She replayed the scene again. Ava's eyes weren't just afraid, they were apologetic. As if she knew this would be the last time she spoke. The next morning, federal agents raided the Wolfe Vanguard media headquarters. Eden Wolfe had gone silent, her PR team issued a blanket, no comment, while her lawyers filed emergency injunctions to suppress any more leaks from the Ava Sinclair investigation. But the damage was done. The leaked courtroom testimony. The voice memo. The whisper campaign on social media that Eden wasn't just a ruthless executive, she was a puppet master. And someone in her orbit had been in Ava's penthouse the night she died. Marla reviewed the building's security footage from that night for the 5th time. Everyone entering the building after midnight had been accounted for, except for one. A masked figure in all black, using a service elevator, with a guest code tied to Eden Wolfe's account. "Do you think she sent someone?" the ADA asked over coffee. Marla shook her head. No. This wasn't a hit. It was a negotiation gone wrong. But then why hide the body? Why stage it as suicide? Because if it looked like murder, they'd have to answer for what she was about to expose. Ava wasn't the only one in danger. The ADA leaned in. Then who else? Marla hesitated. Everyone on that ledger she had. The one she never got to hand over. The file Ava had written, "Bring to Eden," in her calendar still hadn't been found. But Monica Pierce had one more card to play. They met again, this time in a diner on the Upper West Side. She slid a manila envelope across the table, her hands trembling. "I wasn't going to give this to anyone," she said. "But I saw the footage. That wasn't just Ava's voice. That was her." Marla opened the folder. Inside were photos, financial statements, and a handwritten list, Ava's handwriting. Ties between Wolfe Vanguard, Shell sponsors, hush payments. At the top of the list, circled in red, Project Cardinal. Later that night, Marla sat at her desk, scanning the document again. Project Cardinal. Buried in tax records was a short film project Ava had quietly funded. Not for public release. Not for awards. It was a documentary. Rough cut only. Labeled, eyes open. The footage was raw, shaky phone videos of models being forced into silence, contracts written in blood. Testimonies of young stars talking about abuse, manipulation, and forced NDAs. Ava was collecting it all. And she was planning to go public. Suddenly, a knock on her door. Marla opened it to find a young woman, mid-20s, hoodie drawn tight, eyes wide and red-rimmed. "I need to talk to someone about Ava," she whispered. Her name was Cara Donnelly, a former backup singer who'd vanished from the spotlight after a single scandal 2 years ago. "She helped me disappear," Cara said. "When I found out what they were doing, Ava told me to run. Said she'd find a way to break it from the inside. She was trying to protect you." Cara nodded. "And now they think I might still have the other footage." The next day, Cara disappeared. Her phone went dark. Her apartment ransacked. Marla raced to her last known location, an Airbnb under a fake name. Nothing but a broken lock and an empty duffel bag. But something was left behind. A USB. Marla didn't wait. She returned to the precinct, locked her office, and plugged it in. The screen lit up. Video clip 001, Ava, holding a camera. "If this is found, then they know I broke. They'll try to erase me. But I need people to know, this isn't about love. It's about power. About the people who built us, and the people who break us when we fight back. If you're watching this, please. Protect Cara. Protect them all." Then, a pause. She looked off camera. And in walked Wolfe. "You really think you're going to save anyone, Ava?" "I don't want to save everyone. Just myself. That's not how this works. Then I'll burn it all down." Eden stepped forward, face in full view. "Then I guess I'll have to burn with you." Marla stared at the screen, heart pounding. Eden had lied under oath. She was there. Not just in the building, but in the room. On camera. And now Ava was dead. Cara was missing. And the last person in possession of this footage was Marla. That night, a call came in. No number. No voice. Just a single text, appearing seconds later. "Turn over the drive. Or someone else goes missing." Marla doesn't flinch. She copies the drive to 3 separate backups, mails one to a federal contact, and tucks another into her coat pocket. Before we delve deeper, like and subscribe to our channel. Let's discover the mystery in the final cut. The rain hadn't stopped in hours. Detective Marla Hines stood motionless at the curb, drenched, her fingers curled tightly around the USB in her coat pocket. The black SUV idled before her, windows dark like secrets. Then, a click. The passenger window eased down, revealing Sloane Rivera. Her platinum bob was pulled into a severe knot, skin flawless under the glow of the street lamp. Her voice was calm, but her eyes screamed urgency. "Get in. If you want to live." Marla hesitated. Then stepped in. Inside, Sloane drove in silence. Her fingers gripped the wheel, knuckles white. Marla finally spoke. "If this is a trap, make it quick." Sloane gave a bitter laugh. "I'm not here to kill you, detective. I'm here to end it." She handed over a phone. A single video was open. The thumbnail showed Wolfe, smiling. Surrounded by young talent, holding a crystal award at a charity gala. "That was 3 weeks before Ava died," Sloane said. "She was already planning it by then." Marla hit play. The footage cut to an audio recording, Eden's voice in a private conversation. The words were sharp, clear, damning. "She's not afraid of the press, she's afraid of exposure. If Ava goes public, we're all burned. So either shut her up, or shut her down." Silence followed. Then another voice. Familiar. Jaxon. You want her gone? That's not what we agreed to. Grow up, Eden snapped. Do you want your career or your conscience? The recording stopped. Marla sat back. For once, speechless. Sloane leaned forward, voice low. That file was backed up on Cara's drive. I got it before they did. At 3:12 a.m., federal agents stormed Wolfe Vanguard Media. Eden Wolfe was pulled from her Manhattan penthouse in silk pajamas and red lipstick, shouting about legal immunity and slander. By 6 a.m., headlines had changed from "Pop Star Suicide" to "Entertainment Mogul Arrested in Blackmail and Murder Conspiracy." But it wasn't over. Not yet. Marla returned to the precinct. She stood in the evidence room, staring at Ava's personal file. It was labeled simply, "The Final Cut." Inside, printed screenshots, email transcripts, and a short handwritten letter addressed to Cara, and one other name she hadn't expected. To Sloane, if you're reading this, it means you survived. I hope that means something now. Marla closed the folder gently. Ava had built an escape plan. Not for herself, but for the girls left behind. Days later, the media began airing excerpts from Ava's documentary. It was raw. It was angry. It was undeniable. Sloane appeared in a short segment, stripped of makeup, voice shaking. She spoke about silence. About complicity. I wasn't just part of the lie. I was the face of it. Cara's voice followed. She told me, one of us will be believed if one of us is brave. I didn't know I'd have to be both. The fallout was nuclear. 3 major execs were indicted. Wolfe Vanguard collapsed. Sponsors pulled out. And Ava? She didn't become a martyr. She became a movement. At her vigil in Central Park, thousands gathered, artists, fans, survivors. Candles flickered like a city of stars. Marla stood at the back, coat pulled close. A framed image of Ava smiled from a small altar near the stage. She remembered something Ava once said in a studio interview. They gave me fame, but I had to steal my own freedom. Sloane found her way through the crowd, a quiet presence. She stood beside Marla, eyes on the flame. She never wanted revenge, Sloane whispered. She wanted the truth. Marla nodded. And she got it. They stood in silence. Until Sloane added. You know. Eden wasn't the one who flipped that night. Marla turned, sharply. What are you talking about? Sloane looked straight ahead. Someone else was in the apartment. Before Eden. Someone Ava trusted. The final footage arrived 2 days later. A court clerk received it in an anonymous envelope. It had no label. No date. Just a title card. Do not look away. The tape played in a closed federal room. Ava, pacing, whispering into her camera. Then, the door opened. A third person entered. Not Eden. Not Sloane. Not Jaxon. A man in a charcoal suit, familiar face, well-groomed beard. Ava's manager. Reed Mathers. He stepped in quietly, like he'd done it 1,000 times. Ava, he said, calm. You're not thinking clearly. She turned, startled. You're not supposed to be here. They told me what you're planning. I don't care. I have to finish this. Then you're giving them everything they need to bury you. I'd rather be buried with the truth than live in your lie. A pause. Then he stepped forward, hand reaching out. The screen cut to black. In the final federal report, Reed Mathers was named as the unidentified masked visitor who entered Ava's building hours before Eden. Security logs were tampered with. The timeline, reconstructed. Jaxon had left Ava's life weeks earlier. Eden had threatened her. But Reed had cleaned it up. He had watched Ava fall, and called it strategy. He was arrested without incident. At his summer home in the Hamptons. Wearing a robe, making tea. The press called it the final betrayal. Marla called it what it was. Murder by manipulation. 1 year later. Ava's documentary premiered at Tribeca. Posthumously. It won every major category. But the most important moment came in the final scene. Ava's voice, soft and clear. They'll tell you silence is safer. But it's not. Because silence is where they hide. The end. Did Ava's story shake you? Let us know below. Hit like if you made it to the shocking twist, and subscribe for more stories like this on Deadly Confessions. Don't miss our next drop, it's even darker.